Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Fear Tales Meta. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at an American serial killer that is regarded as the second most prolific serial killer in America, and also a boogeyman to the locals of Washington, D.C. in the 80s and 90s. He was responsible for the deaths of at least 49 women in the Pacific Northwest during the 1980s and 1990s. In this video, we're going to delve into the life of the Green River Killer and explore how he managed to evade the authorities for so long. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Gary Leon Ridgway, A.K.A. the Green River Killer, was born on February 18, 1949 in Salt Lake City, Utah, to Thomas and Mary Ridgway. He was the second of three boys. Ridgway had a troubled childhood, and his parents had a tumultuous relationship. Ridgway had a bedwetting problem until he was 13, and according to reports, he alleged that his mother would wash his genitals after every bedwetting episode. This, he would later tell his defense psychologists that, as an adolescent, he had had conflicting feelings of anger and sexual attraction toward his mother, and also had fantasized about killing her. Ridgway was diagnosed with dyslexia at a young age. This led to him being held back a year in high school. After graduating from high school in 1969 at the age of 20, Ridgway served a 2-year stint in the U.S. Navy on a supply ship, and he later saw combat action in Vietnam. After returning from the war, Ridgway settled in the Seattle area, where he worked as a truck painter. Over the next 30 years, he married 3 times and had a son. Ridgway's criminal activity began at a young age. When he was just 16 years old, he stabbed a 6-year-old boy in the woods near his home. The boy survived, but Ridgway was never caught. In his late teens, he began to develop a fascination with prostitutes and often visited the red light district in Seattle. In 1982, the first bodies of young women began to appear along the Green River in Washington state. Ridgway is believed to have murdered at least 71 teenage girls and women near Seattle and Tacoma, Washington. In court statements, Ridgway later reported that he had killed so many that he lost count. A majority of the murders occurred between 1982 and 1984. The victims were believed to be either sex workers or runaways, whom he picked up along Pacific Highway South. He killed most victims in his home, his truck, or a secluded area via strangulation. Most of their bodies were dumped in wooded areas around the Green River, Seattle, Tacoma International Airport, and other dump sites within South King County. Over the next 2 decades, a total of 49 women were found dead in the area. The victims were all young women who were involved in prostitution or had a history of drug addiction. Ridgway, who worked as a truck painter at the time, was considered a suspect early on in the investigation. However, police were unable to link him to the crimes, a feat he achieved mostly either by contaminating the crime scene with gum, cigarettes, and even written paper belonging to other people. He also drove across state lines to dump the bodies of his victims in order to keep the police guessing. It wasn't until 2001 that Ridgway was finally arrested and charged with the murders. The breakthrough came when DNA evidence was used to link him to the crimes. This was also coupled with the fact that another American serial killer, Ted Bundy, had been the one to provide the police an insight to how the killer operated, by telling the police that the Green River Killer was most likely revisiting the dump sites to have sex with his victims. Ridgway pleaded guilty to 48 counts of murder and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Ridgway was placed in solitary confinement at Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla in January 2004, where he continues to serve out his sentence till this day. The Green River Killer was one of the most prolific serial killers in American history, and his crimes truly shocked the nation. While he may have been able to evade the authorities for many years, his eventual arrest and conviction brought closure to the families of his victims. It's important to remember the victims of the Green River Killer, and to honor their memory by learning from the mistakes that allowed Ridgway to continue his murder spree for so long. Thanks for watching. If you have suggestions for the next serial killer or creepy topic we should cover here on the channel, you can put in down below in the comments section, or you can check out the other serial killer videos available on the channel. Links are in the description below. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.